Museum is a place where time does not matter. Looking at the artifacts, we are experiencing the most vivid and exciting moments of history. The program Secrets of Museums on Kazakh TV channel. Historical and cultural heritage plays an important role in our lives. Understanding the past allows us to confidently move forward, improve, and to be spiritually enriched. A library and museums play the major role in the development of the individuals. Recently, the Military History Museum of the Armed Forces of Kazakhstan was opened in Astana. It reflects different stages of our army development, and the first hall where our story starts in the Hall of Weapons of the 20th century. Among its exhibits, there is a famous Kalashnikov assault rifle. The rifle can fire underwater, below the sand. Fail-safe, lightweight, easy to handle, inexpensive AK-47 became one of the symbols of the troubled 20th century, when even a peaceful man had to defend his freedom with weapons. The rifle that had been put into service in the Soviet Union in 1949 was designed 2 years earlier by the legendary small arms designer Mikhail Kalashnikov. AK is the world's most popular rifle. Its modifications constitute the fifth of all the available arsenal of firearms in the world. More than 70 million of Kalashnikov rifles have been produced for 60 years. They are in service of 50 foreign armies. AK-47 has become a symbol of war and freedom. With its help, Asian and African countries gained independence. If earlier swords and axes were depicted on the coat of arms, currently the image of Kalashnikov rifle appears on the emblems of some states. The image of AK-47 is depicted on the coat of arms of Zimbabwe, East Timor, Mozambique, where it is also present on the flag. Until 1997, the image of AK-47 decorated the coat of arms of Burkina Faso. Egypt has immortalized the AK-47 by erecting a giant monument at the Sinai Peninsula. US soldiers found a gold assault rifle in the weapon collection of the former leader of Iraq, Saddam Hussein. In Afghanistan, the image of the rifle is embroidered on the mats. There are some AK-47 rifles in glamorous style. They have soft fur, gun butt, and pink coating of all metal parts. To mark the 60th anniversary of the legendary weapon, New Zealand Mint produced coins engraved with AK-47 in denominations of 2 New Zealand dollars. The Central Bank of Russia issued commemorative coins with the image of the Kalashnikov rifle. Rock musicians order guitars in the form of the rifle. A British-based company selling MP3 players in the form of Firearms magazine. But did you know that the rifle made its first gunshots in Kazakhstan, in the locksmith workshops of Matai railway station? Of course, that first prototype was far from modern modifications of Kalashnikov rifle, but this weapon was the ancestor of the legendary small arms of the 20th century. Mikhail Kalashnikov was born in the village of Kurya in Altai region. He was the penultimate child out of 18 children in the family and miraculously survived, while his 10 brothers and sisters have died from malnutrition. Mikhail was 11 years old when his parents were dispossessed and exiled to the Tomsk region. Having grown up too early, Kalashnikov decided to go to Kazakhstan, where he began to work in the depot of Matai station. This decision became fateful not only for Kalashnikov but for the whole world as well, and Kazakhstan has become a second home for the future gunsmith. Soon enough, Mikhail moved to Almaty, where he also continued to work in the railway depot. He even became a secretary of the political department of Turksip. In 1938, Kalashnikov was conscripted into the army, where he received a specialty of the driver of the tank and served in the 12th Tank Division of the Western Ukraine. The Great Patriotic War has destroyed the development plan of the Soviet economy. Hundreds of engineering and military factories have been evacuated. Only in 1941-1942, 220 factories and 50,000 experienced workers and engineers were relocated from the European part of Russia in Kazakhstan. Almaty, Karaganda, Kostanay, Kokshetau, Semey, Petropavlovsk, Shymkent, Zhytomyr, Uralsk, Pavlodar established the production of military and industrial equipment. Scientific groups have been relocated from Moscow, Leningrad and Kiev in Kazakhstan, which, in home front, continue to conduct military developments, due to which production of torpedoes, mortars, artillery shells and air bombs developed. All this work was monitored by the Republican Commission for Military Inventions, headed by the Secretary of Defense Industry, Akhmetjan Koshigulev. In the early years of the war, there was an acute shortage of weapons that met the requirements of that time at the front. On the agenda of the country's Committee of Defense, the issue was raised on creation of new small arms, which, with their technical parameters, should surpass the enemy's weapons. Kalashnikov started fighting in the Great Patriotic War in August 1941 as a tank commander, but in October near Bryansk, he was seriously injured. During the evacuation, Mikhail saw a small troop of German soldiers firing from automatic weapons at the whole troop of Red Army soldiers, armed with rifles. It was then when the idea came to Kalashnikov to create a simple and reliable Soviet rifle, surpassing German Schmeisser. While in the hospital, he already started to make sketches and drawings. The designer wanted his weapon to fire not only bursts but single shots. After discharging from hospital, Kalashnikov was sent for 6 months to his native Korea to receive additional treatment. Then he thought, do I have the right to go home when I can contribute to the creation of a new model of small arms? My left hand still hurts badly, but it is not a reason to relax. And if I stay at Matai station, in the depot where I started my working way, he recalled, there are good workshops, strong machine tools, necessary instruments. Probably there were some of those workers with whom I had the chance to work at one time.
Mikhail
Kalashnikov, after being badly wounded in the battles near Bryansk, was sent to 6 months' leave and was going to visit Altai, his native land. But on the way in the train, he thought of Kazakhstan, about old friends, and decided to stop his way here, in our country, at the station of Matai. There he met his future wife, Ekaterina Danilova Stakova, who later gave birth to their son, Victor.
Там он встретил старых друзей и свою будущую супругу Екатерину Данилову Астахову, которая впоследствии родила ему сына Виктора.
The decision to get off at the station of Matai was fateful and directly influenced the outcome of the war. Straight after getting off the train, Kalashnikov went to the chief of the depot to ask him to help him and create a new weapon. First, there was a search of the form following the principle that the more a weapon is easy to handle, the harder it is to break it. Much has been done using whatever was available and following own intuition. Within 3 months of hard work, the first tests were conducted directly in the workshop. On June 25, 1942, a letter from an unknown senior sergeant was addressed to the secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Kazakhstan, Akhmedjan Kayshagolov. It said, "While on vacation after the injury, I was working on inventing a new model of submachine gun, which I produced with the assistance of workers of Turksik Locomotive Depot. The manufactured sample was tested and has the following combat characteristics. First, destructive power of up to 600 meters. Second, rate of fire of 650 fires per minute. Third, equipped with 2 clips, each with a capacity of 14 rifle cartridges. In the combat conditions, it is equipped with a disc with capacity of 100 rifle cartridges. Fourth, and most importantly, the rifle is designed on the principles of simple interaction of the parts, excluding the delays in its combat use." The technical description and sample scheme were attached to the letter. Akhmedjan Kayshagolov was a man of action and did not like unnecessary suspensions. He immediately invited Kalashnikov in Almaty. But in the regional recruitment office, the inventor was first put in the guardhouse. When everything was settled, he was delivered to Kayshagolov. The secretary of the Central Committee for Defense personally punished those who were involved in the petty tyranny. An experienced party member listened attentively to Kalashnikov and realized that the rifle manufactured in self-made conditions requires serious improvement. Kayshagolov called for the dean of Moscow Aviation Institute, Major Kazakov, and asked him to help the young sergeant. So Kalashnikov met with the strongest designers of that time: Fedorov, Degtyarev, Tokarev, Simonov, Shpagin, and learned a lot from them. Tests of the modified weapon were conducted in Almarasan Gorge of Almaty. Kayshagolov was satisfied with a new rifle so much that he shot all the bullets. He was certain that the weapon will be recognized by the central leadership of the country. Kalashnikov was sent to Moscow.
Akhmedjan
Kayshagolov, as Secretary of Defense Industry, became a good supporter for Mikhail Kalashnikov. If he had not helped him, the creation of the Kalashnikov assault rifle project would not have been implemented. Once in 1943, Kalashnikov wrote in a letter to Kayshagolov, "At the moment I'm working on the model of a light machine gun. In my spare time, I'm conducting a trial, firing in a safe place. The chief of department of the NKVD of Matai Station, Pechenuk, learned about it and called me to his office, took the gun away and threatened punishment. Please, I would like to ask to return me my weapons and not to interfere with the design work." Kayshagolov promptly took the measures. He ordered Pechenuk to return weapons to Kalashnikov and further not to interfere with the conducted tests.
Казахстан для него
Kazakhstan opened the way of great life, and of course, if there is no connection with Kazakhstan, the famous assault rifle that entered the Guinness Book of Records would not be created.
знаменитого, который вошел в книгу рекорд Гиннесса, автомата Калашникова, было бы сорвано.
Behind every famous person in history, there are those with the help of which he was able to realize his full potential. In the story of Kalashnikov, key role was played by a competent chief, Kayshigulov. He could see the potential of the gunsmith and has created all the necessary conditions for him. After the meeting of the expert committee in Moscow, a telegram was delivered in Almaty. The invention has received a good evaluation. It is submitted to the test. Kalashnikov is awarded a prize in the amount of 5,000 rubles. Kazakhstan's leadership was happy and paid cash awards to all experts who participated in the creation of the weapon. Continuous improvement of the rifle helped Kalashnikov set up the perfect rifle in 1947, about which the leading armorers told as follows: "The design of the sample on the most important indicators is superior to all kinds of existing weapons of the same class." In the same 1947, the inventor won a brilliant victory in the toughest competitions. After that, the rifle received the official name of AK-47. On the basis of 7.62 caliber rifles, a series of civil shooting guns of various types have been created, the Kalashnikov machine gun and many others.
Калашникова, модернизированный ручной пулемет Калашникова и многие другие.
In 1949, a new rifle was accepted in service by the Soviet Army, becoming one of the best kinds of the post-war small arms, which has received the worldwide recognition. It was one of those unique cases when the invention was manufactured for the shortest possible time. From the first sketch in 1942 to mass production in 1949. This was possible thanks to the wisdom and business acumen of the Secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Kazakhstan, Ahmedjan Kayshigulov. Kazakhstan takes a special place in the life of Mikhail Kalashnikov. Two important events took place in the country: the birth of the son Viktor and the creation of AK-47. AK-47 has become one of the symbols of the war in Vietnam. It was widely used by the Americans and the Viet Cong members. Later, the inventor of the famous American M16 rifle, Eugene Stoner, announced that he would prefer to fight with Kalashnikov rifle. In the jungle, the M16 rifles quickly went wrong, so American soldiers often replaced them with AK rifles. The former Soviet officer who worked as a military instructor in one of the foreign countries told that the Africans considered Kalashnikov as hero who presented them the weapon of freedom. The name Kalash is very popular in North Africa. It is believed that the boys with this name will surely grow courageous and strong. Years later, having received the highest awards, the General Mikhail Kalashnikov recalled, "Kazakhstan takes a special place in my heart. This is my second homeland, which became a launching pad to a great life. A thorny path of my invention had begun there." Kalashnikov promised first to shake hands with a designer who would succeed to surpass his rifle. But there have not been such people. The current AK, of course, differs from the first samples. But with all the enhanced features, its main principle of simplicity and reliability is preserved. These are the main qualities that the rifle received in the workshops of Matai Station in Kazakhstan. Reveal the secrets of artifacts of Kazakhstan together with the program Secrets of Museums on Kazakh TV channel.